Retro Blood.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Retro Blood. As we finish up this Halloween 2025 October reviews for the Retro Blood, the anniversary of the Retro Blood, and we are exploring the entire Howling series from the 1980s. And we are ending it here on this werewolf journey into the 80s. Talking howlings and ritual sex and a guy who looks like Rambo, which we'll get to pretty soon. Because if y'all like slow-based stories that are more truthful to the book, if y'all like a girl who has writer's block and she's breaking down mentally because of all her visions that weren't really explained.
Right.
I guess she's just having bad writer's block and seeing visions of shit that's about to happen or something like that. If y'all like a guy named Tom who was trying to be the next Arnold Schwarzenegger but failed. If y'all like troubled production, which actually has some funny production stuff that we're going to talk about here soon, which is hilarious to me. And if y'all like Rambo's little cousin having some sex in the woods with the vampire, with the werewolf, sorry, then this is the review for you. Because the Retro Blood is talking all about the Howling IV. The original nightmare. We're going back to basics, Alison. We're going back to the book.
Back to the basics. So, I mean, they say that, but I don't know how this is any closer to the book than the first movie was. But I don't know, man. This was
J.H. Alison, James Kline. What's happening, everybody? Alison, so you don't think this was close to the book?
I mean, I didn't read the book, but I read the what the book was about, and this doesn't seem any closer to it than the original movie.
That's close enough.
Yeah, close enough.
So, you know what's fascinating about this movie? Besides it being like very slow, this is the only Howling movie we're reviewing so far in our lineup that has no comedy to it. It's supposed to be like all like straight lace and shit.
Right.
What do you feel about that?
But in a way, it was the funniest one of all of them.
Some of it, I guess.
My opinion of this movie is that it's the longest short movie I've ever watched.
That is true. It did drag on a lot.
Yeah, it drug. Oh my god, this movie drug. This was a slog. This was really hard for me to get through.
Yeah, if you like girls going to sleep, oh there's howling. Girls going to sleep, oh there's howling. Oh there's howling. Like on and on. Like we get it. There's fucking howling outside.
Yeah, they're howling. Got it.
I did like my boy though, Robert. You know the Sylvester Stallone lookalike.
Yeah, that guy.
I liked it when she was like all I could play. All he wanted through the movie was some sex. All right, that's all he wanted, some brother. He didn't give a shit about her writer's block. He's like, you're going to give me some sex or I'm going to go bang this foreign-looking girl over here, brother. Who's clearly a werewolf. All right?
Obviously.
And I like when he would hear the howling, he would go outside for like a minute and be like, nope, I don't see nothing. And just go back inside.
Yeah, I'm sure it's fine.
I can see myself doing that. My girl's like,
I
heard something outside. I'll go check it out and look out there. Close is clear. We're all good. Let's get back in the sack.
We're all good.
All right.
We're all good. No problems here.
So, unfortunately, this is an 80s podcast, or, unfortunately, I guess. But we all, there was a lot more Howling movies after this one. There's like 3 more, I believe.
Like 7, yeah.
7 more. Most of them take place in the 90s. So eventually, when we do the Retro Blood 90s, we'll be talking all about those movies. All right? Because I've been enjoying this series so far, I would say. It's pretty enjoyable.
I think it's definitely an underrated series.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, like I said, we'll get all into it when it comes to that. But like every Retro Blood and all of our Halloween episode is no different, because this is also too the annual Retro Blood Halloween episode. Can you believe it?
Wow.
We have made it.
Now,
Now, obviously, most of our episodes air on Sunday, so you guys won't see us on Halloween.
Right.
But we'll be there before. We're getting you ready for the pre-gaming of Halloween. But
absolutely.
But on Halloween, check the boys out because the Lights Out will be back for Halloween H2O. So look for that on this Halloween. But let's get into it though, because we got a lot to talk about when it comes to this movie. So we'll get right into the history segment. I know you found something super cool, Alison.
Yeah.
So we'll talk about mine first because mine's pretty quick. So this movie came out July 3rd, 1988. I don't believe it had like a theatrical release.
I don't think so.
Yeah. So with mine, pretty simple stuff going on. So we actually had a episode of the Wrestling Challenge that was taped on this day. And it was actually featuring a match between Jake Roberts and Iron Mike Sharp. So we got some pretty two good looking wrestlers over there. Like I said, not too much happened on this particular episode. We have like Brutus Beefcake defeating Stefan DeLon.
Okay.
Right? Ted DiBiase defeating St. Jones. And the Rockers, Marty Jannetty, Shawn Michaels also defeating Terry Gibbs and the Conquistadora.
Ooh.
And some tag team action. So,
that was a great match.
Yeah. So, the biggest thing about July, anytime we get on to July of 1988, and we talked about this a couple episodes back, this is the month where Bruiser Brody got stabbed to death in Puerto Rico. Which is horrible. And this month also was the death of Adrian Adonis when he died in a car accident as well.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 2 huge deaths in the world of pro wrestling at this particular month. Big giant stars for their industry as well too. So, but yeah, I mean that's pretty much what we got going on. Not too much happening. Besides those the tragedy when it comes to the those 2 big wrestlers at the time. So
yeah.
But Alison, what do we got going on in the world of the metal music?
So this is kind of cool. We haven't talked about this band in a while, but we have talked about them before, and this is one of our favorite bands. We talk about them a lot on the Retro Blood.
Yeah.
So July the 5th, 1988, the mighty Slayer released their albums, their 3rd album.
Yeah, buddy.
2, 3, 4th album.
Yeah.
South of Heaven.
Yes.
So this is a rather unique album because it was the first album where they slowed down. The songs were slower.
Yeah.
Instead of just playing as fast as they could play, they had slow songs, mid-tempo. Well, slow for them. They were like mid-tempo songs, but they were slower songs for them. And around this time also was when Rick Rubin left Def Jam. So Def Jam Recordings was a record company that was started by Rick Rubin and Russell Simmons to release mostly hip hop records in the early 80s.
Oh, interesting.
And but Rubin also signed Slayer to the label, so they had like Public Enemy and Run DMC and Slayer like on the record label at the same time. But right after this, the next year, I believe, he would leave Def Jam and start Def American, and Slayer would move from Def Jam to Def American, and which was a good thing because at this time Def Jam was distributed by Columbia, and Columbia refused to distribute any more Slayer records. Like they just had enough of Slayer, and they just were. They just didn't want to distribute anything that was that controversial.
Yeah.
Compared to like, Rain and Blood and stuff like that. They just didn't want to do anything like that again. So they had to use alternate distribution for this record. It did really well. It got up to number 57, which for a band like Slayer is really good.
Yeah, really good.
But a lot of people didn't like it at the time. I remember when this album came out and a lot of people didn't like it because it was slower. It was like they sold out or whatever and were trying to be commercial. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy to think that Slayer would be a commercial band.
This don't sound like no commercial album, but I guess
exactly.
Times have changed when it comes to
times have changed.
Music.
Yes. But it is much slower than Rain and Blood. it has the classic South of Heaven on it that they play at every show that they've ever done.
Live Undead is another one they play every show.
Live Undead. But there's a lot of good songs on this. Mandatory Suicide is a great song.
One of my favorites.
Yeah, Ghosts of War is a good song. I mean, this is a really, really good album.
Yeah.
It just gets a lot of shit because they play slow songs on it. But I mean, obviously you've heard this album.
Yes.
But how do you think this ranks in the early Slayer albums? Like, what's your opinion?
I mean, to be honest with you, I like it a lot. I think I rate it over Raining Blood. I know that might get me like kicked out of shit or whatever. But I like the songs. The thing about Slayer is they can actually do the slower pace and keep it a little bit more methodical within their sound. You know what I mean? And it's still heavy.
Right.
Like, just because
it's still really heavy.
Well, the thing is, like, the cool thing about this album that a lot of people don't take into account, I guess, during that time was just because it might be a little slower on the CD, but when they play it live, it's just fast as hell, still live. You know what I mean?
Yeah, still. Yeah,
you still get the bass from it. And I think like with the sound, I think this one I like the I think you can notice a little bit more of the melody. You know what I mean? Like kind of like more of like the chorus, more of the melody, more of like the mood. And when
there's more
down a little bit.
I would agree. There's more songwriting in it. Like, it's like you could tell there's different parts of the song. It's not just like, well, let's put this fast part with this fast part and sing over it, and then that's what it is. It's like they definitely like crafted songs better.
Yeah.
And this is their fourth album. Their second one on a major label, and then the next album after this is Seasons in the Abyss, which I feel like
one of my favorites as well.
I think that's the best album Slayer ever made.
Yeah.
Like Seasons in the Abyss is my favorite, and I feel like it took the best of the slow stuff and the best of the fast stuff and put it together in one album.
Yeah. Well, we've seen that with a lot of bands where they'll experiment with their style. You know what I mean? Because you can't, like, not all bands do that, obviously, but there's a lot of bands that do that. They'll experiment their style, and it'll be a hit or non-hit.
Right.
To be honest with you, like, this album, Slayer later on, like, like, when we get into, what is it, Diablo or something, and then, like, some of their later 90s stuff, that's different style Slayer to me, compared to...
For sure.
Because to me, like, all their 80s stuff has a particular sound to it. You know what I mean? Very legendary sound to it. Even though, this might be a little bit slower musically than the other four, where I still think it's still fitting their style. Like,
I agree. Yeah.
To be honest with you, like, when I listened to all of them, I didn't really notice too much of a difference in their style compared to this one. So I guess people were saying it's slower. I didn't particularly notice that. I still thought it was good. You know what I mean? Like with their branding. It's probably because like when I listened to Slayer, like I started off when they're already at in the 90s area. Like right to be 2000 Slayer, which is to me that's the big change. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. But in the 80s, where we're stuck in the 80s like this, I could see it being a change within the fans. Like, it's not kind of slow and stuff. But I think it's one of those things where you gotta like listen to it a couple times, and then you'll get like hooked on it.
Yeah, I mean the songs are great. I feel like personally, I agree with what you're saying. Like the '90s Slayer after Seasons, like Divine Intervention and Diabolus and Musica. I believe I don't hate those records, but I don't really like them. I feel like that's when they were trying to get commercial.
Yeah.
New metal was getting big, and they're like, let's do something like that. Yeah. And then I think then in 2001, when they released God Hates Us All, is when they got right back to. That was back to the basics for Slayer, and that's everything after that. I think was fantastic up to the last album.
Yeah, and that was my first Slayer album that I ever owned.
Was God Hates Us All?
Yep.
Yeah. When did you get it? When it was new?
I think I started listening to Slayer probably around 2003.
Okay, so no, because it came out. So how old were you in 2001?
I was probably like 17.
Yeah, I was thinking of something like that because I'm like 10 years older than you, so I was like 27. So I remember this. I will never forget this album coming out because it came out on 9/11.
Yeah. Oh shit. Okay.
So we're kind of getting off subject, but this is a cool story because we'll probably never live long enough to get to Retro Blood 2000. So I'll tell the story. But I was working at a job at the mall at the time, and I went early because I worked at the record store that was across the way in the mall.
Yeah.
And I went in early and I bought this album the day it came out. So it came out on 9/11, and I bought it before we knew anything about the planes hitting the Twin Towers or anything like that. And I bought that album and then I went to work, and then like everything happened that day, and it kind of overshadowed everything, and kind of I kind of forgot about it really. And then I took it home and like listened to it later. But yeah, I will never forget that, because I bought God Hates Us All on 9/11. Yeah. The day that the Twin Towers were attacked. But
it's crazy.
But yeah, anyway, South of Heaven. It's a great album. Buy it, listen to it.
Yeah, definitely.
Good Slayer. Slayer's a great band.
Anytime we talk about Slayer on here, I always get excited, because this is probably my favorite 80s band. And it's definitely my favorite thrash band.
Yes.
All right. So, Death Angel is pretty close on there too. But I would
Death Angel's great.
But I would probably say Slayer is still my top. And they're actually still touring, man. They're doing big festivals still. Can you believe that?
Yeah, it's kind of weird, right? They went on their final tour and then decided to tour some more.
They pulled
like Kiss. They just never stopped.
Yeah, exactly. They pulled a Terry Funk and never retired.
Yes.
Now they'll do big shows where they get paid a lot. Because they just got announced. They just got announced for like Sick New World and fucking Fort Worth, Texas. I'm like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
I might have to figure out how to get there. And they're playing. I think they're playing the
who else?
There's a bunch of people there. Too many to name. Yeah. But like they have, I think they're playing the entire Raining Blood album. So that's kind of cool.
That'd be cool.
So
yeah, I would go to that to see Slayer, but I don't know how many other bands in that bill I'd want to see though.
There's a couple good ones on there that I saw. But everybody check it out. But we'll be playing a little bit Slayer at the end of the show for everybody. Even though, I gotta say this before we get into the who booked this shit. The fucking song for the Howling IV. Something evil. Something dangerous. Something evil. Yeah. Something dangerous. I'm sorry. That's some love making music, brother. That was the best part about this film. Was that fucking song? I loved it. I played it like 5 times after the movie.
I was shocked to find out that was recorded by Justin Hayward of Moody Blues.
Yeah, Moody Blues. Yeah, our boy Moody Blues.
That's so weird. But anyway, that's odd.
But I actually thought that was I love that song, and I thought it was a great song. I saved it to my playlist. All right, and everything. I was like, fuck yeah, brother.
Did you really?
Yeah. Got on my Halloween playlist now, man. All right.
That's a cool Halloween song.
Yeah. I might play that one too. Imagine, it's probably the first time in history where you're listening to a podcast where you can hear a Slayer song and then a Moody Blues. All right.
Yeah. It's like, so it'll be on your Halloween playlist, like, kind of like Dead Man's Party, which is the only Oingo Boingo song anybody listens to if you're not an Oingo Boingo fan. Like everybody that likes Halloween knows that song.
Pretty much. All right, so let's get into it, brother. Let's get into who booked this shit. All right.
Who booked this shit?
So our boy Philip Mora is gone. He's on out of here.
Yeah.
He's done with his 2 movie deal. All right. His quirkiness... His weirdness in his films are all gone. We got a new guy in here. All right.
We do.
We enter John Hough. All right.
John Hough, yeah.
To direct this direct-to-home video release. So it didn't get a theatrical release like we thought. It didn't. It went straight to home video just like we thought. So we have a screenplay by Freddie Rowe and Clive Turner. Okay.
Yeah.
And... So there's a couple things going on with this particular production over here.
Yeah.
I need a little sick, Alison. Did you?
Yeah, I'm a little under the weather.
Did you by chance get bitten by a werewolf?
No, I'd feel better if I did.
Yeah, man.
I wish
not in this
I'd been
movie,
bitten by a
brother.
werewolf.
If you got bitten by this movie, you fucking melt. What the hell did that ever come from?
That sucked. Yeah. You're supposed to become a werewolf if you get bitten by one.
Not this guy. This guy like melted. So in this movie, when you get bitten by a werewolf, it takes a little bit for you to transform, but when you do, you melt. Like you're in the fucking sun or something. You're melting, and then from the melting, you rise up to be a werewolf. I've never seen that ever before in a werewolf movie.
It is a really weird way they presented the transformation. I did want to say though that this director also directed American Gothic.
Yes, that we did do on this channel.
Which we did in the archives. Yes.
Yeah. I actually liked that movie too. I thought it was pretty good. So, and this guy, the way he directed it was fine. I thought it was pretty good. Like the scene shots and everything, and like, you know, how everything looked and everything. But because of the trouble, I think some of the script is pretty bad. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, the script was terrible.
So we have Harry Alan Towers, had approached Howling series producer Stephen Lang. He's back. Mm-hmm. Guess what?
He's been making money off the Howling since 1981.
This guy has been trying to make money off this. This guy is the Mustafa Akkad of the Howling series, basically. He's like brother. The concept is not dying. We're gonna keep this train rolling. And we're gonna beat it to death.
Yeah.
Until we can make some fucking money out of this thing. All right. So here's how it all went down. Okay. So Harry Alan Towers approached Stephen Lang about a production deal in Africa as part of a tax shelter, as many films were doing at the time. And we've talked many times on this podcast about shout textured films, mostly in Canada, but they do it overseas, you know, anywhere overseas, basically. Okay?
Yes.
Just really quick, Alison, for the new listeners, can you tell us what a tax shelter movie is?
So a tax shelter movie is basically different countries want to invest in the arts, and Canada is like the most famous one, like we've talked about before.
Yeah.
But they will give people a tax break if they invest in the arts, like a movie. So a lot of people that have a whole lot of money and don't want to pay taxes on it will often invest in a film, hoping that it doesn't make enough money back and that they can write it off as a loss. So basically, in this movie, some rich person in South Africa didn't want to pay taxes, so they invested in the Howling.
Yeah.
And then they will write that money off of their taxes at the end of the year.
So speaking of
I don't know how we find these people. We need to find these people so we can make our movies.
Oh my God, bro. I would love it. Just to give me like a semi-budget to make fucking
yes.
Microwave Massacre 4. I'll do that.
Exactly.
Or
yes.
Sledgehammer 2. Revenge of the Sledge. You know what I mean?
We need to make Sledgehammer 2.
Bro, just whatever the craziest thing. You know, speaking of that, you know, these fan films, some of that shit is pretty good. I know this is going off topic for a second. But that new Halloween Resurrection thing, you know.
Okay.
I don't know if you've seen it yet or not. It's on YouTube for
I haven't
free.
seen it. No, I need to watch that.
It's okay. So it's a little boring, kind of like this film, where it takes forever to get going. Okay.
Right.
But it's shot and looked really well for a fan film. I was like, oh shit. I didn't finish it yet. It's kind of like this movie. Very similar. It's a slow burn movie, which I do not have a problem with slow burn movies. I know you don't have a problem with that either, Alison. No. You know, sometimes it takes a bit for it to get going. You know what I mean? But it can make from a let's hurry up and get this shit going experience. Okay.
Yeah, so, like I don't mind slow burn movies as long as they pay off.
Yes.
But I don't know that this movie paid off, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. So when the crew arrived in Africa, Towers had disappeared.
Yeah, of course.
So he's gone. They said most of what Towers had promised was not provided.
That's shocking.
And instead of a neighborhood country, the crew was blindsided with the revelations that shooting would take place in South Africa. So it says additional problems arose due to director John Hough, who has, according to both Lane and effects artist Steven Johnson, Hughes often had no idea how to effectively capture the effects worked or pace the film in an effective manner. Okay. So
I can see that.
Yeah, so production began in November 1987 and principal photography was completed in January of 1988. So basically they were saying, so first of all, this guy, Alan Towers,
right.
I didn't say conned them, but they pretty much they promised them some shit, and they're like, oh, they get there, and none of that shit that he promised was there. So they had to make shit up on the fly. And they're saying that John, he basically wasn't filming to help out the special effects. All right. Because there's certain things you got to do if you're going to have special effects in your film. There's certain shots and there's certain ways you got to do certain shots to make it look, for the editing, to make sure you can fucking look it in there. And he just wasn't doing that. Maybe he was pretty new at the time to special effects. All right.
Well, I was about to say, he just hasn't shot a lot of special effects movies. I mean, he's made a lot of movies. He made a movie called The Incubus that was really good. He made Twins of Evil. He made Haunting of Hell House. Haunting of Hell House is the name of that movie. He made that. So he's made a lot of good movies, but he hasn't made a lot of special effects movies. And as a filmmaker, I mean, I know that it's not just turning the camera on and like people doing stuff. You have to like set it up, and the shots in the right way,
lights
and,
and everything
look the right way. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, certain lights you got to do and stuff like that. It's like to me, the best kind of director is also the best editor as well.
I agree.
You know what I mean? Because you got to see the whole picture in your head, and you got to make sure your head is matching up what you can physically do on this on the editing board.
Right.
So basically, this is what some little stuff about the movie. So this one was supposed to be more true to life, to the book. I see. All right, to Gary Berner's book. All right. Now, this is also one of the first movies that I can't find that Gary had anything to do with. All right. Maybe he got fed up after 3.
I was about to say, he's tired of complaining about people fucking up his story.
Yeah.
I guess.
So it says Howling, the Howling and Howling 4 are both based on the same novel by Gary. Interesting, Howling IV, the original Nightmare, actually represents the more faithful adaptation to the novel than the Howling. And that would be the couple things. So I believe in the original novel, it was structured kind of like the same way, where the main girl, she was having writer's block. She was a writer, and she went out to the cabin, and the cabin there just so happened to be werewolves.
Right.
In Joe Dante's version, it was like that, but they added in the serial killer element, which I actually thought was cool. I actually thought so far the original Howling is killing all these other ones. All right.
You think so? I don't know. I love Howling 3.
Howling 3 is really good too. 3. Like but I still like the first Howling, kind of like the realism in a way. I just like the style of it.
I agree.
But the one we did last week, Howling 3, was pretty good too. So, the budget was so low that the movie had to be made without sound. I don't know if you noticed that.
Nice.
I noticed that right away.
There was
all the audio had to be dubbed in during post production. Can you believe that? That's fucking crazy, man.
So they couldn't even record any sound on site at all.
No,
that's nuts.
So John Hough was thwarted by producer Clive Turner at every step. This is what he claimed. Who tried to alter the script while production was en route. Okay. After Hough turned in his version, Turner went out and shot tons of new scenes and edited the movie to the liking that he wanted and constantly fought Hough for. So we have some writer-director drama, brother.
Yeah, we've heard that story before.
Yes. So John said in an interview in Fangoria that there wasn't a script when they got to make the movie. All right. The script was eventually written by Freddie Rowe, and he would also receive notes and messages from him as well as additional pages. When Hough tried to ask for Rowe's phone number or an address so he could reach him, he was denied every time. Just imagine that. He suspected Rowe was actually Clive Turner. All right? Okay. That's what John said. He thinks like this Rowe guy was like, no, he was secretly Clive Turner. All right?
That's weird, but okay.
And he said supposedly because he and Turner never got along, and then Turner kept trying to make power plays as he wanted to be the producer and the director. So we got some drama over here. So John, while making this movie, he thought it was a conspiracy against him.
Oh, yeah, because he's crazy.
Just imagine that, bro. Just imagine, though, like you're flying all the way to like South Africa with all this film crew and everything, and you get there and ain't no fucking script.
There's no script, no money. You don't even have enough money to record sound for your movie.
You can't even do sound.
It's
bro.
like,
God dang, that is rough, right there.
Yes,
that's some rough shit. Okay, so I thought this was some trivia notes on here, which I noticed too, and it was pretty funny. So the Howling IV was the only movie to portray wolves as werewolves so far.
Yes, right.
So we're doing some Twilight shit over here, brother.
Yeah, it's like Twilight wolves.
Writer and co-producer of the movie, Clive Turner, was originally supposed to direct. But when the financiers pulled out, he had to get veteran horror director John Hough in to direct at the last minute with what money remained.
With what money remained. Yes. Fantastic. That's what any director wants to hear. You get what money's left.
Yes. And then in a kind of a rebut interview, Clive Turner said that he was disappointed with director John Hough, but they ended up with a reasonable film.
Really?
Yes.
Reasonable.
It's reasonable, brother.
I will say that the special effects in this were better than the special effects in Howling 3 a little bit.
Oh, yeah. Which is surprising, I guess, too, because they had such little money. But, I guess the money they did have, they spent it pretty good.
True.
All right, so let's see. FX artist, Steve Johnson, he's the one to thank for the melting werewolves.
The melting werewolves.
Was disappointed in the way the werewolf effects was utilized. Oh, yeah, you don't say. Feeling they looked nothing like him. He said he felt they looked nothing like he and his team intended. In an interview, Johnson said the producers wanted something new for this transformation. So we had the man melt into a big poof of ooze in several different stages. Then we zoomed in on the pool and it forms into a wolf. But it took a lot at the editing film. I don't think the idea gets across through no fault of our own. No, not my fault, brother. All right.
So, great.
The original version by John Hough that he turned in was different to the movie that then was released. Okay. When the movie was finished, Hough was in England while post-production was performed in Los Angeles by Clive Turner. The final version has little resemblance to Hough's version. Turner had recut and re-voiced the movie. Seems like Lamelia Derva giving oral to Michael T. Wallace was never in Hughes' version, but was placed in through reshooting and re-editing by Turner. That's right. Our boy John didn't want no head, but our boy Clive, he loves that werewolf head, brother.
Yeah, so he reshot the movie basically and re-edited it to make it the way he wanted it to be.
So basically, that's probably why like the pacing is so like different. You know what I mean? Because I think John filmed and did one movie, and this guy came in and reshot a bunch of stuff and added it in. That was just kind of like out there. So very interesting. That's kind of like that had to be like a little pain in the ass. You know what I mean? Because that's like if I go out and direct Sledgehammer 2, all right, and then you, Alison, come over there and like, I don't like this. There needs to be more werewolf head sex, and you add that in for no reason. I'm watching like, where the fuck did that come from? You know what I mean?
And then I reshoot it with werewolf head sex, and then you're like,
what the fuck?
You're like, where the fuck is this?
Yeah.
And then we present it as your movie, like,
But to be honest with you,
directed this.
But to be honest with you, that would probably be me adding in the werewolf head sex. Your movie would be more toward the book. And then what I would do is I would make sure the books had nothing to do with anything.
But we've heard this story before, right? Where the director goes in and makes his movie, and then the film company goes in behind him and completely remakes it in a different way.
Yes, and speaking of that, we'll be talking about that very, very soon on Halloween when we talk about H2O. Wait till that story, brother. All right, so it says, while on the opening credits says based on the novels by the Howling 1, 2, and 3 by Gary Berner. Okay, the poster, it says, based on the books by Howling by Gary Turner. This is more accurate since the movie is a close... Okay, we already talked about that. John, who greatly enjoyed Joe Dante's The Howling. Okay? And is a lover of horror movies in general. So he was all for making the sequel and was eager to do a werewolf movie for the first time. All right? But he was disappointed with the final result due to the changes made by producer and writer Clive Turner. When he reshooted and edited the film in an interview, Hough stated that The Howling IV is one of the movies that he can't call his own.
Yeah, because it was re-edited.
Yeah.
And reshot.
So the character of Eleanor, all right, Lamelia Derva, was similar to Marcia Quist in The Howling, all right?
Yes.
As they both are evil, yet sexy.
Evil, yet sexy.
Except
my favorite kind.
Except they were missing one thing. Our girl Marcia showed the luscious werewolf bush.
Yes. We were definitely missing.
We didn't see no werewolf bush on Eleanor, did we?
Mm-mm.
All right.
Sadly, no.
So the movie's theme. Okay, we talked about this theme song, which is my favorite part of the song. And let's see what else we got here. All right, about 5 minutes into the movie, while Richard Adams and Dr. Herman discuss Maria's health, the voice heard over the hospital paging system paging Dr. Robinson appears to belong to actress Lamar DeVaro, the girl who played Eleanor. So, little small things in the movie and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So. But let's talk about it, everybody. Let's get this Retro Blood Halloween episode rocking and rolling. Talking about a troubled direct-to-home video of the Howling. Can we reboot the series? Can we make it a long-lasting franchise? We'll find out. We'll find out. Let's get all into it.
Everybody's worst nightmare has returned. It's known simply as the Howling.
Every night I've been hearing this howling. There's something so sinister about these woods. He's out there. I feel it.
There's no big animals here, Babs. Don't worry. There's nothing in the forest to harm you.
Go away! Go away, my child! The howling. She was never able to tell us what happened. The bite marks.
There weren't any bite marks.
The devil's hatred for God has turned man into a habitation for demons.
They're still out there.
Howling IV, the original nightmare.
All right. So we open up with that great song. Should I sing it again, Alison?
You should. I want to hear you sing it again.
Something evil. Something dangerous.
Oh, yeah. I love it.
Godly. Tell me that's not love-making music, brother. You know what I mean? Pop that in there.
For sure.
Get the candlelight going.
For sure.
All right, you know who's listening to Robert. You know our boy Robert on here. He was listening to us song while he was getting that fucking. You know what's funny about that scene too? Like I was watching it. I was like, is he getting head right now? Like, did you see that? Like I couldn't really tell. Like I couldn't tell if she was taking forever to get off his jeans or if she was actually going full staff.
Right.
All right, brother. That's what I pay attention to.
Yeah, she was definitely doing the thing.
All right. So anyway, we get that great song. All right. And we meet Marie. She's our book girl. Yeah. She writes books. She's an author.
An author. A book
Godly,
writer.
This girl was annoying the hell out of me the whole movie. I don't know. She's just weird, brother. All right. Yeah. So she has a meeting with Tom, which I guess is like her editor, but she also wants to fuck him, I guess.
Kinda.
I mean, he looked pretty good. Like he was pretty jacked. He kind of reminded me of like a wannabe Arnold Schwarzenegger. Are we not getting that vibe?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So she's on an elevator. She sees a nun, and then she drops her book. She says hell, like I did that one time at St. Mary's. All right. And then the nun disappears. Okay. And to be honest with you, Alison, like, what was the angle? Why was she seeing stuff? Like, does it have anything to do with the actual script? Because like, she didn't start seeing. Okay. I got it. I know why.
She just has visions.
She's having visions because
she
has a vision of this nun who's trying to lure her to this place to solve the mystery. I got it. Just figured it out in my head. All right. So now she's staring at the fire and stuff, and she's having more visions. Okay, and she starts screaming. So she goes to the hospital. All right, she's telling herself it's not real, but she's still having some more visions and stuff. And now the doctor, who's talking now to her boyfriend, Richard, is saying that she needs to not write this book. It's causing her mental stress, and she needs to relax. And Richard's like, well, she got a book, brother. Like, she's paying for the fucking bills at home, man. Like, she needs to write these books. All right? I am just here for eye candy, brother. I don't do any work myself. What I do is I do, like, designing. That's what Richard does. He does, like, Los Angeles designings and stuff. Okay?
Yeah, he makes plenty of money doing that.
So I took in my notes right when we see Richard. I said he wants to be. He looks like Rambo. He looks like Sylvester Stallone ripoff.
Yeah,
all right,
and which makes sense from this time, right? Because
yes.
Sylvester Stallone was one of the biggest actors in the world.
Exactly.
So they're like, let's find somebody that looks like that. We can't afford Sylvester Stallone. Let's get somebody that looks like him.
Exactly, we got him. All right, so now the doctor is basically saying, like, why don't she go out for like a nice relaxing trip somewhere? No books. All right. So now we see that I guess she agreed to that, and now we can see that Maria is now driving with Tom, and Tom is bringing her out to the cabin. Drago, my bad. All right, so basically now the doctor, or Dr. Combs, okay, and he's basically saying that her images and stuff are very dangerous, and she needs to go out and take a few weeks off and stuff and get her life together, and Richard now I guess he found a local cottage in a small town of Drago.
Right. Yes.
Okay.
And that's where they're going to stay. They're going to stay in Drago.
Yes.
So she out in the country so she can get her shit together.
So they're driving. Obviously they're flirting with each other, which actually goes nowhere in the film. And they're driving along, and they eventually get stopped by the sheriff of Drago. All right. And this guy's like super Southern. He's like, what are y'all going? He's like, going to Drago and stuff. He's like, who are you? He's like, well, I'm her friend. I'm driving her there. All right. And then they ask how to get there, and he shows them how to get there, but he's very, very salty the whole time. All right.
Yeah. And of course they have the dumb cop is portrayed as a Southerner, of course.
All the time. So they have a dog with them, by the way, too. All right. So they get out of the cabin. All right, and then the first thing that Maria saw, she actually saw some wolf scratches on there, but she doesn't really say anything about it. And then they go into the cabin. Richard is there, surprising them, and Richard is surprised to see Tom. All right. And they're like, oh, I didn't know you were coming here. Richard's like, well, yeah, it was a last minute thing. And I was just thinking, like, how, I guess this girl, like, she's having all these mental breakdown images. Is she supposed to just drive herself to the cabin? All right. All right, so now Tom is like, okay, he's being kind of awkward because we could tell that Richard doesn't really like Tom. There's like a jealousy there. So Tom's like, well, I got to go back to LA anyway. And then of course Maria's like, well, why don't you just stay here for the one drink and stuff, and you can stay the night. And Richard doesn't really like the idea, and Tom's like, no, I got to go back. So y'all take care, all right? and then Maria sees him out, and Tom's like, listen. Take care of yourself and don't call me whenever. And I'm being serious.
Right.
Which is another angle. I guess we're supposed to believe that Richard is like abusive or something, but he kind of never was. Never really was. But
not in the movie, but it is kind of implied that he might be.
Yeah. Or kind of like an asshole, basically.
Right.
All right. So Maria's like, Maria's now, she looks around the cottage. She likes the cottage that Richard got. And then they start making out at nighttime. And this is when we get the first howling of our story. Everybody, beer.
This
is the Halloween episode, brother. We got to celebrate. All right?
We do.
So Richard doesn't care about the noise. He just wants some sex. All right? And then he's just like, it's just animals out there. Oh, yeah? What kind of animals there, Richard? All right?
Could they be wolves?
Yes, maybe. So the next day, they go to the town, which is basically almost abandoned. There's like nobody around. Richard thinks they all just went fishing. The whole town went fishing. All right?
Everyone.
Yeah. So they go
big fishing town.
Big fishing town. So they go to a local store. This is when we meet Eleanor, our luscious, spicy lady of the night. Here, brother.
Yes.
All right. She looked pretty good. She's a store owner. She's an artist also. Oh, okay. Her acting though was even even when they redubbed it, she was still break, her voice would break up, like it would break.
Right.
Thought that was crazy.
Wow.
So they meet her and they all stay in. They say where they're staying. He's like, oh yeah, you're staying by the old college. All right. And this is when we find out Maria also likes to paint well too. Oh, you don't say. We get another artist. All right. So now they are all like looking at each other, and this is when Eleanor's like, oh, you guys are studying about the old cottage. She's like, oh, how did you know that? Well, it's a small town. Things get around. They talk about how much they like painting everything. And then Eleanor starts to lightly flirt a little bit with Richard. Okay. Mm. And then when Marina and Richard leave, they're kind of like talking about it, about Eleanor flirting. All right. And Richard kind of blows it off like, oh yeah, she probably does that to everybody. So then they go to a grocery store. All right. They're asking for the couple that worked at the grocery store says they're asking for a lot of stuff. So now Mrs. O will now talk to Maria about the town. Mrs. O knows Marie's staying at the cottage, and she knows that the town is a very small town. Everybody's knows everything about each other. Okay. And then they also talk about the sheriff a little bit, because the sheriff just comes in very walking in there, brother, grabs his cigarettes and just fucking leaves.
Yep.
All right. And she starts asking a little bit about the howlings and stuff that you heard last night. All right. And the Mrs. O really didn't know what it was about. She was like, well, it could have been anything.
Could be anything.
Yeah. So now we're back that night. We have more love making. And guess what? We get more howling, brother. All right. So Maria stops Richard, and Richard gets all crazy. And this scene reminded me of, have you seen that new Ed Gein monster on Netflix?
Yeah. You know, I started watching it. I watched the first episode. Yeah. It was okay. You
weren't digging?
I don't know. I hate. I mean, he's from Wisconsin. I mean, Charlie Hunnam did a really good job with the accent. I thought that was great.
Yeah.
But that lady that plays his mom, that was on Roseanne and Big Bang Theory, she always plays the same character. Like, no matter who she's playing, she's always playing somebody from Texas.
Interesting.
So she's supposed to be this lady who lived in Wisconsin, but she sounds like she's from Texas.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel you on that. I do remember this line, though. Like, when he was trying to, want some sex from his squeeze girl.
Yeah.
He was like, my balls are growing like the size of grapefruits.
Wow.
All right. And I was thinking about Richard.
You should see a doctor.
I know. Richard is basically having his grapefruit balls right here, too. All right. So now Maria dreams. The dog is now wandering around. Maria looks for her dog. Can't find him. Richard says, it's a dog. They just run around. Don't worry about it. He'll be okay. All right. Maria now wants to go see the sheriff because her dog's missing last night. She tells the sheriff about the dog and about how she heard these howlings out here. So she thinks the dog might have got attacked by some big animals. And the sheriff's like, there's no big animals around here. All right. She's like, what about the howling? All right. And he plays down the howling like it never happened.
Right.
All right. So now it's nighttime again. Maria dreams of her running to a nun in the forest. Maria wakes up. Richard has a meeting with design people for tomorrow. Okay. And now he's going to go do that. Richard's going off back to L.A. And Maria's going to be meeting now with the grocery wife, Mrs. O. Okay. And she's telling her about the woods and stuff and the howling. Tells her about the howling. And Mrs. O like, well, it could be owls.
You know could be.
A lot of owls out there.
Yeah. Howling owls.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Okay. And then Mrs. O's like, okay, I'm guessing you don't really drive too much because it's doctor's orders of her not being able to drive. Okay. So Maria asks about the couple who had the college before. All right. She asks Mrs. O. All right. And then Mrs. O doesn't really answer. And then Maria kind of sees Eleanor. All right. And this is when she's having more flashbacks of the nun during this time too.
Right.
So she goes across this swing bridge. Oh, so basically she runs into Eleanor, and Eleanor tells her how to get home quicker, which is the swing bridge. Okay.
Right.
And now Maria is she basically finds a cave, and her dead dog's in there. So she freaks out, she runs back, and we get the return of Wolf Vision. Not since the days of Howling 1 have we had Wolf Vision.
I know, we haven't had it in the other ones, but they brought it back for this.
So now she's called Richard, all right? Said there was something following her last night. She knows it for a fact, and she found the dead dog by the cave, all right? And Richard's like, I'm going to go check it out. And she's like, no, don't go check it out. And then literally Richard like walks out the door and then walks back in saying, oh, there's nothing out there. Let's call the doctor.
Close enough.
Like, brother, that was like at least 2 miles away where she saw everything. And he's like, looks out the door like, oh, I don't see nothing. Everything's fine. All right.
Exactly. No issues at all.
So Maria says Maria randomly sees the old couple who used to live there, and they're screaming at her, go away, my child. All right. And then the next morning after that happened, some fan has hunted down Maria out of college. All right. And then this is when Richard is stopping by Eleanor's place at the same time. Uh-oh. And Richard goes and he talks to Eleanor saying, well, I was just coming back from my home from L.A. and I was just stopping by because my wife needs some art brushes. If you know what I'm talking about.
Oh, I know exactly what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Wolf brushes.
He's doing the old wife needs an art brush gimmick. You know what I mean?
Yes. It works every time.
It works every time. All right. So now Maria's talking to the girl about about her books and stuff, and Richard's at the same time is getting her a present from Eleanor. Maria now talks about the howling sounds. All right, and now the friend's like, oh, that's very interesting. My friend Ruth heard the same sounds too, and now we get the whole backstory of Ruth and Janice. So Janice is the fan. So basically, Janice has come to the town of Drago.
Yeah.
To figure out where her long lost nun buddy was, Ruth. So Janice, she got fed up or done with being a nun, so now she wants to roam the streets at night. Okay? And she's trying to find her friend Ruth, who went disappearing by going to Drago. And she remembers Ruth saying something about the howling. All right. Oh, by the way, I guess it kind of counts.
Ew.
It counts a little bit. All right. So then we do all this devil stuff. You know how these religious people are. Oh, it's the devil. All right. And she wants to basically figure out what's happening. All right. So Maria wants to help Janice now. And Richard's going. And now Richard goes to the cave. He sees something. It's a doll. And I thought in my notes, is this the return of voodoo magic to the retro blood?
I know. Kind of, yeah.
Bro, if they would have been like, voodoo magic is what makes these werewolves, I would have died.
Yeah. I mean, that would have been great. That would have been better than what we actually got, I think.
Is it voodoo? Oh, it might be voodoo. What do you know about voodoo?
Voodoo werewolves.
All right. So Richard gives her the present of the doll. Richard shows her the doll, saying, "This is what you saw. You just imagined everything." She's like, "I did not imagine it." It's like, "Yes, you did. It's this fucking doll." He says, "I looked over the whole area. I didn't see anything." Brother, you went to the cave and you went to one little spot. You didn't look over the whole area. Okay? All right. So now, all right, and he's like, "You looked over the whole area, and this is what I saw. This is doll, so that's probably what you saw." Okay?
Yes.
So now Maria is drawling outside, I guess, to, calm down a little bit. You know what I mean? Because she's supposed to be there on this vacation. She's not supposed to be Bruce Wayne. She's supposed to be out here relaxing. Okay?
Right.
which is not doing that well. All right, so now Maria meets some random campers out there. And she just helps one of them with the foot. These campers are from New York City. They came here to see the bell tower in Drago because of the history of the bell tower. So the history is the bell tower was one of the oldest towers in Drago. And it caught on fire one day and it burned half the town in it. Okay? And they're like, how do you know that? And he's like, I read it in a magazine. National Geographic magazine.
Yeah, so it must be true.
There you go. Must be true. Well, that's a respected magazine at the time. So
it is. It is a respected magazine. Yeah,
they'll be hating. They'll be
I
hating on the
I love National Geographic.
They'll be hating on the Geographic, brother.
I love National Geographic.
Right. So now the hikers want to leave because they have a long journey ahead of them. They haven't seen her dog, Maria's dog, but they will keep a lookout for it. All right. So then they go back to hiking. They're hiking along. They hear a dog sound, and one of the main hiker guys, John, he is like, okay, let me go find it. Let me go find it so we can take the dog back to her. And he takes the girl there. Okay, he leaves his wife there. Okay, so he's going across the pond. Okay, and this is when he runs into a werewolf. Our first werewolf of the whole movie has arrived.
Finally, like how long are we in this movie now?
Golly, it seems like 40 minutes or something. Who knows?
Yeah. I finally got a werewolf. All right, but anyway,
yes,
better late than never.
So he gets attacked by the werewolf, gets chased by the werewolf, eventually gets killed by the werewolf. Wife runs to him, sees dead John in the lake. She tries to get out. Well, the creek, I should say. She sees him in the creek. All right, and she tries to escape, but the werewolf captures her too, and she's dead. So Richard's back. Guess what? He caught a rabbit.
Oh.
A ribbit. How do you say it? Like I can't say it.
A ribbit.
So he also bought a gun in LA also, just to be safe. Guess what?
Howling.
They hear more howling, brother. Let's get it in there. All right.
Well, it is called the Howling for a reason.
Yes. You gotta have those howling. You gotta have at least a couple of them going on.
Yeah.
So they hear more howling. All right. Richard says it's nothing, of course. So it's probably a coyote in heat. Does a coyote in heat howl?
Maybe it might. Might. But I think he's wrong. It's werewolves.
So she has to. Basically they're asking like, "Are you gonna finish this up?" Richard is going upstairs because he's ready to fuck because he got those grapefruit balls. And he's like, "Hey, are you coming?" And she's like, "Well, I got to finish these dishes before." And that Richard's like, "That don't work for me, brother."
No.
Right? So now Maria, while she's doing the dishes, she now has a flashback of Sister Ruth, who's dead. And she freaks out a little bit, but she's like, "Hey, I'm not gonna, hurt you. What's going on?" Maria wants to. Okay, so basically, Maria's trying to talk to Sister Ruth and stuff, but she disappears. Right. All right, and then now she's too distracted to have sex. All right.
Yes.
So the next morning now, Maria does not want to go to L.A. and doesn't want Richard to go back to L.A. Okay, but Richard's like, well, this is one of my last meetings in L.A. and if I get this job, I'll be, they'll start coming to me. You know what I mean?
Right.
All right. So he goes off. Maria meets up with Janice, and now Maria's telling Janice about her seeing Sister Ruth all the time now. Okay? Yeah. Tells her about the bell tower that she got told by her hiking friends. All right? And then they go to the tower, but before they can go inside the tower, Mrs. O stops them and saying there's some sort of fungus growing in there, so you don't want to go in there.
Yeah, of course.
Right? All right. So now out of the corner of Maria's eye, she can see the towing company towing the camper that was for John and that hiker girl. Okay? And she goes there, and the sheriff's like, "Hey, if these were your hiking friends, they didn't leave no paperwork or no license plate and stuff. I got to tow this shit." All right? All right? And he's like, "It's an abomination vehicle."
Oh, right? What does that mean?
I don't know, but it sounded cool when he said it.
It sounded cool when he said it.
That's why I wrote it in my notes. So Maria knows something has happened to them. All right, and then Maria, she's going off with Janice. And she wants Janice to be on the lookout while she creeps around the garage where they're holding the van. All right. So Maria goes inside the garage and she finds license plates from New York City. And she's like, that's it. Because they were from New York City too. So the town's hiding something.
No, they definitely.
So then Janice warns that the sheriff's coming in there. All right. And then Maria gets on out of there. And then Maria goes to the doctor. Okay. And all right. And Maria's now talking about Ruth and she wants to know more about Ruth when she was here and stuff. And the doctor was like, well, yeah, it was really tragic with Ruth. Like, we found her in the woods just wandering around, crazy out of her mind.
Yeah.
All right. Because you got to remember, the doctor may or may not be in on it.
Oh,
right, guys.
They might be. It's a mystery.
All right. And so the Maria's now thinks that Ruth and the cottage are not connected. All right. And now Maria starts calling Tom, okay, about the mystery at the place. So she wants Tom to use his police buddy to run this license plate and see who it was owned by.
Right.
Okay. So now Janice is meeting with this priest outside of Drago. All right. They're talking about Ruth. The guy was saying that Ruth was terrified. It must have been that the devil must have touched her. All right. No. The touch of evil, maybe.
Maybe. Ooh. Just like the other John Hough movie?
Yeah. Yes. All right. No one from Drago comes to this church. That's what we found out. Maria, well, I wonder why. They might be spawns of Satan.
And that would keep them away from church for sure.
All right. Maria's not telling Richard any of this because she doesn't want Richard to get onto her about being stressed out and worried of being Bruce Wayne, basically.
Exactly.
It's nighttime. More howling.
Yeah. Drink.
I have no more beer left. By the way, this is if y'all were wondering, this is a Oktoberfest.
Oh,
all
nice.
Right? It says House Oktoberfest.
Nice.
All right.
Who, where's that from?
Edmonds Oat Brewing Company.
Oh, from Charleston or somewhere near Charleston.
Yeah. Shout out to them. It's pretty good. I like it. A lot of their beer.
They make some good beer.
Good beer. All right. So Maria's getting up. All right. Now she's getting up. Now things start falling out of the cottage for some reason.
Yeah.
Like this is supposed to be a ghost story now, I guess.
All right. And so now Richard's up. All right. And Richard shows up to the cottage now. All right. And Richard is kind of like, he's noticing that they're kind of like in danger a little bit. So he now is going to be teaching Maria and Janice some practicing, how to practice the gun. Okay. And it just so happens that Janice is good at shooting. So Janice loves this place. Richard now runs into the developer. Okay. And all right, and okay, this is basically what happened. Janice says she loves this place, and now Maria's telling Janice of how they found this place. That Richard actually ran into the developer of this place when he was doing his job, and that's how he found out about the cottage for them to rent out. Okay. So now they want to. So they're kind of wondering about the old couple who used to live here, okay? And Richard's like asking like, why are you asking that? All right, and then they get kind of they get into like a little bit of argument. Like Richard doesn't really understand why she needs to know all this stuff, and he's supposed to be relaxing. And then Richard's like, okay, well I'm gonna go into town and get a couple of supplies and a drink. All right. So then he goes out. He's got his drink, got the supplies he needed. He looks over. I guess Eleanor's shop is right by the bar. All right. So he sees her walk in. Our boy Richard. Cowboy shirt and everything. Did you see that shirt he was wearing? That shit was super That was
red.
awesome. That was awesome.
Going up like Fabio. Super red shirt and everything. Knocks on the door. All right. He goes in. All right. They look at each other. And they just start kissing, brother.
Fantastic.
And I put in my notes, He goes in, laugh out loud. They have ritual sex. It's back.
It's back on the Retro Blood. Ritual sex.
Maria, all alone at home, hears a noise at the door. A wolf breaks in, and Maria starts shooting it, and Eleanor's... And then while this is all happening, it's like 2 scenes. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Maria's at home. She hears noises. Probably howling, so I'll take a beer.
Sure.
All right? And she's hearing the howling and something coming up to her door, a werewolf, while Richard is getting laid by Eleanor.
Yeah.
First, he gets his dick sucked.
Yeah.
That scene, brother. That was added in by Clive Turner because he's a big dick-sucking fan.
Apparently so.
All right? And then while this is happening, while Richard is fucking her, the wolf attacks. So the wolf comes in. Maria shoots it, but it doesn't it misses it and stuff. So the wolf chases off, gets away. And while this is happening, Eleanor has such a great orgasm that she howls. Does that count?
I know.
Does that count for a beer drinking?
That counts. Okay. That counts for sure. That was fantastic too.
There you go. So he's getting his stuff going on, brother. All right. All right. So now Richard arrives home after doing some adultery stuff. Maria says she shot a wolf outside. So what does he do? Richard grabs the gun, says he's going to go take a look. He walks outside to the porch. He looks like this. He looks here. Nothing to see here. Goes back inside saying, he's like, you know what? I'm about to call the doctor. I think you just imagined all this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. You just need medication.
All right. So, and then he comes back. It basically doesn't come back and he doesn't say anything. And then they get all, and Maria's like, I saw it. I swear I did. So now, next morning, Maria's telling Janice it's all falling apart. Talks to Tower, said that the nearby community burned the tower because they believed there were werewolves here. Ooh, we got a new development. Maria said that she shot a wolf last night. And this is when Janice is like, well, if y'all think about it, the devil might have touched this area. And what is part of the devil's creatures? A werewolf. Really?
Right.
Interesting.
Sure.
All right. And then Maria's playing down the devil angle. Like, she's all like, what? Werewolves? Devils? Nah. That can't be true.
No, couldn't possibly be true.
So Maria now talks to the doctor about her not sleeping. She gets some pills. She says she saw a wolf last night. And the doctor's like, you sure? She said the doctor's like, well, you sure it wasn't a raccoon? And she says, like the biggest raccoon I've ever seen then.
Wow.
And then, of course, the doctor's like, you know what? The shadows, they do many things. Right?
Yes.
So he's like, don't worry about this. And then she's like, what about the previous owner? She's like, well, the previous owner, what happened to them is the husband fell and he hurt his hip. All right. So they wanted to get some extra, medical care for this guy. So they moved all the way to Europe to get this guy a hip looked at. That's why they left.
It's healthcare is cheaper in Europe.
There you go, brother. So Maria calls Tom about the license plates. All right, and then he says it's under a person named Brooks. All right, and so she asks him about werewolves, and he's like, "Oh, that's a great idea. Your next book's about werewolves." She's like, "No."
Interesting.
All right, and then Maria is now saying to Janice that the license plate didn't work because it was somebody named Brooks. It wasn't nobody named John or nothing. All right, and he tells Richard that the story gets on about the dreams. Okay. So now Richard is... okay, so now... I actually like this line. That's why I'm laughing. All right, so now Maria has decided to tell Richard what she's been up to. Okay? Yes. And she's basically telling him about the werewolves and stuff like that. And then Richard's like, aren't you supposed to be relaxing here, not dreaming and stuff? All right, what? And then Richard's like, what's going on over here is you keep hanging out with that frustrated lesbian nun.
Right. Weird.
Fucking Janice putting crazy stories in your head. I was like, God. Just when he said that, it came out like nowhere. It was pretty funny.
Lesbian, the whole lesbian nun thing. Yeah, that's crazy.
All right, so now now he wants to go out for some air, which means to go have some more sex with that Eleanor girl. He sees Eleanor, just so happens to see her. Full moon. All right, and then he has some more sex with Eleanor. Maria's laying down during all this. During the ritual werewolf sex, Eleanor turns into a wolf, and he scratches and bites Richard. All right, and Maria hears all of it and stuff, and meets and runs out to the woods because she heard it all, and she finds Richard there clawed up and stuff, gets him inside, tears his shirt off. All right, says Richard's telling her don't go out there, and then she calls the doctor. The doctor now looks him up and everything, and she talks to Maria, and Maria's like, okay, is he gonna be okay? Is he dead and shit? And the doctor's like, no, that's cool. He just got attacked. He has a couple scratches on him. She's like, a couple scratches? That shit was like all over his fucking chest, and he's bleeding out. He's like, no, he just has a couple scratches. Go talk to him. So she goes up there and talks to him, and Richard, you can only see like maybe there's one little scratch mark on him, on his chest.
Yeah, right.
And he's very catatonic right now. And he's all like, no, I just got little scratches and stuff. I'm fine. And then now this is when, after all this happened, and Maria's like, man, I could swear that I found you out there and you're fucking just dead and shit. Like, now she's coming over to the angle where it was all her mind just making up everything. Her mind was making up werewolves. Her mind was making up the scratches on him. The mind was making up everything. Okay. So
she's starting to think that it's all in her mind.
Yes, pretty much. All right. So Janice wants to. All right. So Janice now gets a. Janice wants to get the. She gets the Bible that Ruth had. All right. And the. Well, basically, Janice's new thing is she wants to find the Bible or whatever the book of the exorcisms are. And the priest guy is like, I don't have that book here. Besides, you can't do exorcism at all, and Ruth couldn't do exorcisms at all. So they kind of like throw that angle away, and then the priest gives Janice Ruth's Bible. Okay? Because maybe Janice probably thought she could go out there and do an exorcism on all these werewolves, and they'll just turn back into humans, which I guess doesn't work like that. Okay? So now Richard's going to Maria asking, like Marie's like, shouldn't you be resting? You got attacked and stuff last night. He's like, no, I just fell down. I got a couple of scratches. I feel great today, so I'm going out. All right?
Yeah.
So Janice comes by. Tom is now on his way as well, too, because during one of the last nights, Maria actually called up Tom, and Tom was, I'm going to head over here now. So now Maria is telling Janice, Maria's now saying that she imagined everything and it's only all in her dreams. Okay.
Yeah.
Tom arrives. Okay. And this is when Janice kind of like leaves because she thinks she's interrupting something between Maria and Tom.
Right.
Richard's going out to the woods. Maria says that she brought Tom here for no reason because it's just all in her head. All right. And then Tom randomly tries to go kiss Maria.
Yeah.
And then Richard comes in, sees it, and beats his ass.
Yeah, for some random reason. Just out of nowhere.
What was with our boy Freehand Tom over here?
I don't know. I don't know what's up.
So that was interesting. All right. So now we're at the Twins Fork Hotel. Tom apparently knows where Janet is staying and exactly what room. Okay, this didn't make any sense. This is when we know the pacing of this movie is fucking weird and doesn't make any sense. So Tom met Janice for like 1 second. Janice excused herself. Tom makes a move on Marie. Richard beats his ass, and she gets out of there. Now I guess he's a stalker or whatever. He goes to a hotel, finds the exact room that Janice is in. He knocks on her door, and now he wants to talk to Janice about Maria's well-being. Okay. And this is when Janice tells basically what's going on in the story. Okay, so now Janice wants to talk. She said she put up this ghost hunt. Okay, and this license plate that was owned by Brooks, but Brooks is actually Ruth's last name, Ruth Brooks. Okay, so this is when they figured out, Janice and Tom, that the license plate actually belonged to Ruth's parents, who were the original owners of the cottage. And they found out that they never ever left the cottage. Okay? Remember the doctor said they went to Europe, which they never did.
Right. No, that's not true.
All right? So Tom is now... so now they want to go rush, all right, and kind of grab Maria and get her out of here. Okay?
Yeah.
And then there's like something that Ruth said, like all in fear, that they kept thinking about.
Right.
All right, so now Richard and Maria are eating, okay, and Maria wants to go back to L.A., but now Richard doesn't. He says, I can't go yet. I got to stay here. All right, and he doesn't know why he wants to stay here, but he's mad at her while he's eating a lot of food too.
Right.
So Janice so now we're in a desperate situation to get Marie, possibly Richard, out of the town because we found the town mystery of them hiding and killing
werewolves.
People.
Yes.
So what does Janice do when she gets to her house? Well, she takes her time packing. You know what I mean? Got to make sure everything is folded up before we can get the hell out of here.
Yeah. There's no rush to get out because of the werewolves.
So now Janice picks up the Bible. And apparently this is Ruth's Bible. And Ruth had one of those little slips in there, like that little book slip on there. All right. And it says, the devil's hatred for God has turned man into a habitation for demons.
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Death metal song, brother. I like it.
Exactly. Habitation for demons.
And then Janice is like, demons? Yeah, buddy. Demons. She says, werewolf. We're all in fear of demons. I get it now. Oh, God. That's her acting right there, Janice.
That's fantastic.
So now Richard walks into the road. Tom stops and checks on him. And then Tom gets attacked by werewolves. So he's dead now. We get more howling. Our last one for tonight, probably.
Woo!
And this is when we have Richard tears his shirt off. And for the first and only time in history, he melts into a pool of his own melting blood.
Yeah, not what I expected at all for this part.
And then he melted. Like he's that guy from Return of the Living Dead, Part 2. You know what I mean? And then he resurrected as a werewolf. So in this timeline, when you transform into a werewolf, you have to melt first and then resurrect from the gates of hell, brother. All right?
Yeah, I wonder whose idea this was. Like, I mean, it looks good, I guess, but it's just not what I like in my werewolf transformations. No. I don't want to see him melt and then turn into a wolf after that.
To me, it's kind of lazy.
They need to be hairy and then yeah.
It's lazy. All right, let's be honest. The best transformation so far has been in the Howling 1.
Yes, for sure.
That's for sure. So then I put in my notes, the werewolf vampires are back, because I don't know if you took a look at these werewolves, but they look like fucking vampires. Okay? They show up. They watch Richard melt, and they call for Satan.
Yeah.
Satan.
A lot of Satan stuff.
So now, Richard has come back from a melting werewolf. Maria, she runs where the werewolves are. They attack her car, and she can't start the car, of course. All right, and then she eventually starts the car, and then she runs over one of the vampire werewolves. That's what I put in my notes. She goes out. She sees dead Tom. There goes him, and his flirtiness is over. She goes to the town. She freaks out. All right, and she goes to the town. She looks around. She goes into one room, and there's a werewolf girl in there, so she just leaves. All right, Jenna shows up. All right, and this is when and then Janice is saying, she picks up Maria saying, Ruth tried to warn us with all her subliminal messaging that there were going to be werewolves here. Okay? So then the sheriff shoots the tire so they can't go anywhere. So they run into the dreaded bell tower that's supposed to have medical fungus everywhere, which didn't. It was a lie. And they walk in there, they see the doctor, and then the doctor transforms into the most laziest looking werewolf I've ever seen.
That was terrible.
And then the best part about this, Maria and Janice do not freak out about his transformation into a werewolf. Janice says calmly, well, the legend says if we burn them all in this bell tower, they'll all go away. You gotta be fucking kidding me. You guys weren't even fucking scared of this doctor turning into a werewolf that you trusted and giving you medicine and stuff, and now you're gonna tell me about this legend shit?
Yeah, so now you're gonna get all the werewolves inside the bell tower and burn it.
So, guess what? All the fucking wolves, they all transform into wolves.
I guess, yeah.
So, this part was fucking ridiculous. All right? So, Maria and Janice, they're in the bell tower. They no-sell the transformation. Doesn't scare them at all.
Right.
Janice says, we got to get all these wolves in here because the legend says if you burn them all, they'll all die in the death. Well, no shit. Okay? So then, like, while the doctor is still transforming into the werewolf, they set booby traps everywhere.
Fantastic.
Did you catch that? He's transforming. Like, hold on. Let me get to my freezer form. Like you're supposed to be scared. I
gotta get to my final.
So he's transforming while they're shutting the doors. They're getting the fucking locks ready. They're getting the fire ready and everything. And he's like, "Hold on a second. Oh wait, give me a couple minutes. I'm transforming." And how come when he transformed, he didn't have to melt? Why the fuck did Richard have to melt? Anyway.
Wow.
So then they I don't know what they do, but they get all the wolves to come into the fucking bell tower. They all turn into actual wolves, okay? Then they lock them all up in the tower after they tricked them, okay? And then they get a car and they run the car into the tower and everything blows up and all the werewolves, they all burn and they all scream. Yeah. And of course, after the aftermath happened, Maria realized that Richard was one of them. She keeps calling out to a burnt up, melted, dead werewolf Richard, like he's gonna awake or something like that. All right. And then, of course, one breaks free and attacks Maria. And that's how he ends. The Howling IV.
Yeah, I feel like this ending came out of nowhere. Like it just stopped. Like you were watching a movie and then all of a sudden the movie just stopped.
Bro, the ending was like one of the worst parts. Like,
yeah, it was.
Like, it was also funny too because the whole time the doctor was still transforming. After like they literally went like up the tower, down the tower, up the tower. He's still transforming. He's like, hold on, guys, wait a minute. I'm not done yet.
There's more. More.
And then they did the bell sound, right? Like the bell, and I guess the bell like has some sort of like thing with werewolves. They all have to come into the building. So they do the bell. They all come into the building. They run out of the building, and they use the car. They blow it up. Just fucking lazy, to be honest with you. So.
Yes, it was absolutely lazy.
It wasn't like the book, brother. All right. So,
nope, not at all.
But everybody, that ends our 1980s Howling series-long review.
Wow.
Maybe hopefully one day we can come back and do Howling 5, 6, and 7. All right. See if those are any better for Retro Blood 90s. But we're going to have to do a do to the Howling series. I actually enjoyed this series. I thought it was pretty fun. I would say.
I overall, I did like it. It's a very underrated series.
Yes. I would say it's pretty fun so far. So, but everybody, I hope you all had a great Halloween, or going to have a great Halloween coming up pretty soon on Friday. But join us here on Friday when you're getting yourself ready for your trick-or-treating, your partying, your masking, whatever you're going to be doing, your Halloween contest. Join the Retro Blood Sisters podcast, The Lights Out, where me and Alison are going to be talking Halloween H2O 20 years later. All right.
Yeah. I have a lot to say about this, I think.
So it's going to be fun. There's a lot to say. We talk about the ideas of Halloween 7 that were in production until one Jamie Lee Curtis came on board. We'll talk about Jamie Lee Curtis' demands of the Halloween H2O. We'll talk about director Steve Miner. We'll talk about the Weinsteins. We'll talk about John Carpenter not wanting to do the film, or actually wanted to do the film. You just got to pay him a hefty salary to do it.
He just wanted a lot of money.
Right? We'll talk about a lot of stuff. We'll talk about the resurrection, a little bit tapped on them. And we'll talk about the idea for a third film that was supposed to happen before the Rob Zombie ones did. So, yeah. And of course, we'll talk about all about 90s horror during this part. Maybe a little prelude to Retro Blood 90s. You know what I mean? We'll see.
We'll see.
But everybody, on this podcast of Retro Blood, join us here because we're going to be entering a new month, November 2025, a month of family, a month of food, a month of Thanksgiving for us Americans out here, because the Retro Blood is going to do a whole brand new month talking killer families and killers in your families.
Yeah.
Because
this will be awesome.
We all get the family for Thanksgiving. We all have to get along with our extended family, our inner family. But what if your extended and inner family are a bunch of killers? Well, we'll talk about it. Because we're going to be starting off Retro Blood with the movie Stepdad 1.
Yeah. These are great. I don't know if you've ever seen
I've never seen these, but it's going to be very interesting. Let's just say that. All right? Yes. It's going to be very interesting. We got a lot of fun ones for this month. So when we do Stepdad 1 next week, we will tell you about the whole list. And there's 5 Retro Blood reviews in November. So we're going to be doing 5 movies. Some of them I've been waiting to do here for a long time. Some of them are very new to me. So, but this Stepdad 1, I seen a bunch of... I seen like the graphic, and I was like, what the fuck, Stepdad? And there's like 2 of these things. So we'll be doing both of those at least for the next month of Killer Family Month. So it should be very fun. I'm looking forward to it. So, but Alison, to get us on out of here, obviously we're going to be playing that Something Evil song.
Oh yeah.
But first, what Slayer song should we get everybody on out of here?
I want to hear Mandatory Suicide.
Ooh, that's the one I like too, brother. I want to hear this. Because, brother, we did have some mandatory suicide on this one. It was mandatory after Richard started doing some adultery fucking to some hot vampire puss. All right?
Yes.
What did he have to do? He had to suicide himself by melting and turning into a creature of Satan evil, a werewolf. And then getting burnt again and melting again. He melted twice, brother.
He did melt twice.
So, there he goes.
Yeah.
But everybody, J.H. Alison, James Kline, we'll see you all next week for Killer Families Month. See y'all later.
See you guys.